Hi folks, it's Ashley here. So this is going to be one of many videos I'm going to be doing to expose the Jewish war crimes in Palestine and how much of what we hear is taking place at the hands of the Jews against the Palestinian people has occurred previously in the Soviet Union. It's even similar how these murders were carried out. You know, we know that the Jews tend to, rape and axe a lot of people to death during World War II. A lot of the victims were killed very inhumanely, if killing wasn't bad enough. You're going to notice that the Jews have not changed. Even though these are different Jews, they behave exactly the same way as Soviet Jews. Okay? So I'm going to read you briefly what took place here. So Abu Shusha was a Palestinian Arab village in the Ramla sub-district of Mandatory Palestine, about 8 kilometers southeast of Ramla. It was depopulated in May 1948. And just so you know, folks, the depopulation, of Arab villages during the 1948, war, look at these. And this is only one page. There's more pages. Okay? Wow. Let's read what they did here. Oh, first, before I even go any further into what actually took place. Elua Grant, who visited the village, described it as tiny in 1907. In the 1910s, part of that land was sold by the government receiver to the villagers and the rest to the Jewish Colonization Association. You know, they had one of these, not only in Palestine, folks, but they had one of these also designated for the Soviet Union. Don't believe me? I'll show you. Organization for Jewish colonization in the Soviet Union, folks. All right, let's continue. So this gave the villagers 1/3 of their purchase in order to settle the dispute. After World War I, the land in Jewish hands was sold to the Maccabean Land Company and later transferred to the Jewish National Fund. Let's take a look at what these pieces of garbage did. It's pretty disgusting. The village was attacked by the Javadi Brigade on May 13th, 1948 during the Operation Barak. A few inhabitants fled, but most remained. The Javadi troops were immediately replaced by militiamen from Kibbutz Getzer, who were later replaced by troops from Kiryati Brigade. On May 19th, Arab Legion sources claimed that villagers were being killed. On May 21st, Arab authorities appealed to the Red Cross to stop, quote, barbaric acts, end quote. They said they were being committed in Abu Shusha. A Haganah soldier was reported to have twice attempted to rape a 20-year-old woman prisoner. The residents that had remained in the village were expelled apparently on May 21st. More recently, research conducted by Bezrit University, mostly on the basis of interviews with former residents, suggests that between 60 and 70 residents were killed or massacred during the attack. In 1995, a mass grave... Where do we see these mass graves, folks? Many of them in the former Soviet republics, right? Because that's what they did. Very exactly the same thing. But yeah, in 1995, a mass grave with 52 skeletons was discovered. But their cause of death was undetermined. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Israeli historian Aryeh Yezraki explains the events of Abu Shusha as a massacre, citing a testimony from the Kiel Mishmer guard units. Quote, a soldier of Kiryati Brigade captured 10 men and 2 women. All were killed except a young woman who was raped and disposed of. At the dawn of May 14th, units of Javadi Brigade assaulted Abu Shusha village. Fleeing villagers were shot on sight. Others were killed in the streets or axed to death. Some were lined up against a wall and executed. No men were left. Women had to bury the dead. Who was it that made, the Polish people, the Ukrainians, the Russians bury the dead? It wasn't the Soviet Jews, wasn't it? Made them bury their own family members. The Israeli settlement of Amilim was founded nearby later in 1948, while Pedaya was established in 1951, both on village land. The remains of the village were destroyed in 1965 as part of a government operation to clear the country of abandoned villages. which were regarded by the Israeli land administration as, quote, a blot on the landscape, end quote. These are your Holocaust survivors. These are the same people that expect compensation for supposed loss of land during World War II. No such thing. They weren't persecuted. They're still not persecuted. They're clearly the persecutors. And nothing changes, folks, if nothing changes. Wake the fuck up and expose these pieces of garbage.